October 18th, 1996 was a beautiful day in Philadelphia. It was the kind of day that made me want to go outside and sweep up the leaves that were outside the three-story row house in a nice block of Fairmount where I lived alone in a studio apartment. My building was about halfway down the block, and I looked and I saw from the east two men about my age walking toward me. They were black. I thought briefly of going inside, but I didn't want to be one of those people who grows up in the suburbs, moves to the city, and tells people in the suburbs how much he likes the diversity of the city. Then he runs inside and locks the doors when he sees someone who's different from him walking this way. So I kept on sweeping. The guys came up to me, one of them said something. I turned and looked, and he was pointing a small caliber handgun at me. I raised my hands, and the second guy circled around me and he thrust his hands in my pockets, taking the $25 in cash and my keys away from me. And the guy with the gun said, "Give it up," which I was already kind of doing. And while I'm doing this, I raised my hands. I've never been robbed before. I raised my hands really high, like people in old Western movies do. I was hoping that a neighbor would see me out a window and call the police. The guy says, "Where's your wallet?" I'm a bad liar. What am I going to do? Am I going to say like I'm the one guy in America who doesn't have a wallet? So I kind of flustered. I said, "It's inside, locked up." The guy says, "We're going inside." I knew at that point that they wanted my credit card so they could buy stuff and party all weekend. I also knew that the only way to make sure someone doesn't cancel his credit cards would not be good for my health. So I said, "I don't want to do that." He said, "We're going inside or I'll pop you right here." So, what do? I must have seen, we've all seen probably 100 movies where someone's in that kind of situation and they get out of it, but they never really give you practical advice. You had to wait for YouTube to do that. This was 1996. So, instead of that, what I do is I just say, I figured, I was thinking that humans have been around for a few million years, but possums used to feast on dinosaur eggs. So I pretended to die. But I didn't go very well, apparently. The guy, he wasn't convinced. The guy, lying on the bricks, and the guy was kicking me kind of lightly on the back and going, "Get the fuck up, buddy. Come on, get the fuck up." I stayed still, and I was thinking that he was just going to get pissed off and shoot me in the head and take off. After all, this is his job. And I'm making his job, I'm giving him a crappy day at work, and I'm also, not only that, I'm also making him look bad in front of his court. And oddly, this is more about me, I guess, but oddly, while I'm lying there thinking I'm about to get shot in the head, I'm thinking, the only thing I thought about that is that it would be really interesting to have a bullet mash up your brain. You'd have all these new perceptions and feelings and sensations and ideas. But anyway, that didn't happen, obviously. Instead of that, he reached around from behind, and he was about my size, but really strong, and he was pulling me up the stoop. Meanwhile, his coworker is using my keys to open the door. Things did not look good. Pause for effect. Okay. Then he dropped the gun. I heard it fall in front of me, and I opened my eyes and looked at it. I know just about nothing about guns. The only time I've ever shot a gun was when I was in 5th grade and a friend's dad took us out in the woods to shoot at tin cans with a .22 caliber rifle. And all I'll say about that is that the cans that I shot at went on to live long and happily. They don't call, they don't write. But anyway, I could see with this gun that the handle had an empty space in it where you put the magazine with the cartridges in it, so I kind of figured it's probably empty. And at that point, I just sort of went for broke, and I started struggling and shouting. I used to do town watch, so I learned that the thing that you want to shout when something really bad is happening to you is fire. It's not fire. Everybody thinks that's not fire. What you shout is, "Crime in progress, call 911. If you give people something to do, they do it, and it worked. The guys at that point, they kind of figured that maybe $12.50 each for about a minute's work was good enough, so they took off, they went back in the direction they came from, and the police came really fast. The guys had split up, but they drove me around, and we caught the main guy. He still had the gun on him. He also had a knife, which I probably would have seen more of later if I'd gone inside. He was a career criminal. He ended up getting a little over 3 years. So the scary part about this should have been that the idea of getting shot in the head didn't really bother me that much, but that wasn't it. I stayed in that apartment for another 15 years. Yeah, I wasn't chased out of the city by this. Yeah, and I had no problem with that. I did, however, not really go out when I didn't really need to for a while, even during the day, because this all happened at 3 in the afternoon. That's why I'm sweeping up leaves. And I didn't do anything stupid like my gun, which is the dumbest thing you can do, believe me. I also didn't start drinking a lot. The only thing that I did get hooked on was the one thing that gave me great comfort, and that was spiced baby gumdrops. They're so good. And I'll tell you something about spiced baby gumdrops. Only sometimes you see them in supermarkets, but they're always in drugstores. So say no more, right? And now, even 19 years later, I'm pretty good about them. I don't abuse them much, but still, all these years later, around this time of year, I do actually buy a bag or two, or